My next patron question is from Jaeun, who wanted to know about creative concerns regarding the use of AI in movies. As I'm sure you recall, last year there was a huge strike in Hollywood from the Writers and Actors Guilds, and as you briefly mentioned in one of your most recent videos, one of the reasons was regarding the concern that they would be replaced by AI to write scripts or create actors in their own likeness. Something I found surprising was that there was not such a strike for makeup artists, set designers, or special effects artists. Considering the rise and increased use of AI, it makes sense that directors and producers could just turn to AI to create certain visual production aspects at the expense of the careers of actual people who do those things. One such example I can think of was in the latest Indiana Jones movie, The Dial of Destiny, which de-aged an elderly Harrison Ford to look like his younger self from the earlier trilogy. Ignoring the fact that his appearance was rather unappealing, I also felt it replaced a potential makeup artist who could have done a better job. And who's to say that AI could not be used to create sets and special effects in the same manner at the expense of those who specialize in that field? With all that considered, why wasn't there a strike from makeup artists, set designers, or special effects artists about the fear that AI could replace them in the same way as the actors or writers? Do you think there could be such a strike like this in the future? The use of AI has definitely become a real concern within people in the entertainment industry as well as from those who watch movies. Recently, there was controversy over the movie Late Night with the Devil using AI for certain imagery in parts of the set. The directors have defended this by saying they're working with what they had, and there's still the work of actual people in the movie, which seems to ignore the potential slippery slope of using AI for something a human being could have done better. I've even seen people on social media quickly whip up much better skeleton art than the AI images that appear in the film. Regarding the reactions from artists like those who work in visual effects, there have been the same concerns that AI could be used on films artists could be hired on. The Animation Guild will be negotiating the contracts with the studios this summer, and AI will very likely be near the top of the agenda. I actually won't be surprised if they strike, as it's not just animators who are in the guild, but also storyboard artists, character designers, and even writers who were not able to strike last year, as with the exception of shows like The Simpsons and Bob's Burgers, most animated series are not covered by the Writers Guild, and animated features are not either. Regarding the de-aging of Harrison Ford in Dial of Destiny, that was not done through AI, but the work of actual visual effects artists. It was done with the usual process of tracking Ford's face using dots, and then the effects team combined that with the footage from the earlier films to show us the younger Indiana Jones. While ILM used a program that looked over the previous movies to find the right images, the several artists responsible for that sequence still modified the scenes and scrutinized over every detail, especially the eyes. So that's a different case than them just asking a computer to do all the work and leaving it at that. Whether visual effects artists will strike over the potential use of AI, the unfortunate truth is that most of them don't have a union. Projects are basically farmed out to whichever vendor the studio feels has the best bid, and there's also a lot that gets sent overseas. You may have seen the news about Marvel Studios' VFX artists unionizing, but that's exclusively for people who work at Marvel, and it was only about 50 employees who mostly do on-set work. It does not apply to companies like Framestore and Sony Pictures Imageworks, who are responsible for the majority of the effects in Marvel movies. Makeup artists and production designers do have a guild though, and that is something they might consider doing if they get really concerned about the use of AI. Even though Rick Baker won his last Oscar for The Wolfman, he was very critical about the film using CGI over his work and for the transformation scenes. That was even one of the main reasons he chose to retire, as he felt most of his makeup was going to be replaced with computer-generated effects anyway. I cannot even begin to imagine what he thinks about AI, although as you can see, concerns about other departments taking over areas that used to be handled by the makeup team is not new. Visual effects have also been used for set extensions for many years, with questions even being raised about where on-set production work ends and post-production begins on films like Avatar and Alice in Wonderland, which won the Oscar for Best Art Direction. I think AI will be a hot topic for many years, especially as we see it even being used in film promotion materials, like on Civil War. There are several excellently filmed scenes in the movie. A24 cannot have used one of those for these posters. I imagine many departments are looking at this trend and hoping their work is not replaced by these unappealing looking images in the future, and when their respective guilds start renegotiating their contracts, the subject of AI could indeed come up. Thank you for the question, Jaeun.